people of Lebanon are still trying to recover, or at least understand what happened yesterday when many pagers exploded. Not in that they were getting lots of messages, but like physically exploded. And while they're trying to figure out what's going on today, in recent hours, some more stuff exploded. Some walkie-talkies, some again, it's about as clear as we were yesterday about the pagers. What's going on right now? There's been explosions in cars and houses, but again, this could be walkie-talkies. They're bigger than pagers, so they can take you can hide more explosive in them. The explosions could be bigger. One of my favorite things was there was an explosion in a funeral of somebody who was killed yesterday by a pager. So I love that. That's that's yeah, we can hopefully that'll continue, and there's going to be some more funerals. As of the latest reports, 9 people died from today's explosions, and 300 were killed. It's also again not clear what the numbers are for yesterday. From what I've seen, it's around 8,000 testicles were exploded, in 4,000 pager explosions, if my math is correct there. So yeah, Lebanon is definitely finding out today and yesterday. And look, again, we're gonna see some reports as we go through this show and the reality show, and to whatever extent we can, we will tell you what we see. We can't confirm any of it, but we try to use at least reliable seeming news outlets. And one of them reported that there were explosions also in Iraq at the same time as the walkie-talkies exploded today, which of course would make sense. There are terrorists in Iraq. It is an Arab dictatorship. And yesterday, so today, one of the there were a few hours that there were no rockets from Hezbollah. They at some point got it together enough to fire some more rockets, but there was a drone from Iraq that landed in Tiberias in Israel, or was fired to Tiberias in Israel. So yeah, hopefully pagers will be going off all over the Middle East. Welcome to the Daily Objective. James Valliant, your thoughts on the pagers explosions?
You
Uh,
know,
yeah.
it was a remarkable coincidence. A remarkable coincidence occurred on Monday. This is Monday before any of the pagers went off. The headline on the Wall Street Journal, if I can, I've got a little prop here. Here's Monday's Wall Street Journal. And on Monday, the headline read, Low tech messaging system shields Hamas leader in Gaza. So everyone knew, and mind you, this was a news story on the front page of the Wall Street Journal in the United States on Monday, the day before the pager thing went off. We knew for weeks, we've known for months that instead of using regular smartphones, instead of using the higher tech stuff that most people are using, like Android phones these days, are the common way people communicate these days. Well, they didn't want that because their communications might be hacked, monitored, interfered with, etc. So they went low tech, precisely in order to protect people like the Hamas leader here, Sinwar, which that news story was all about. Now, understand that Hezbollah is an active combatant on the side of Hamas in Israel's war with Hamas. Just since October 7th, more than 7,500 missiles and rockets have been fired on Israel by Hezbollah from Lebanon. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. More than 7,500 rockets and missiles just since October 7th have been fired by Hezbollah in Lebanon into Israel, displacing tens of thousands of innocent Israeli civilians. We've said many times that is nothing. I mean, Israel would have been justified in doing a preemptive attack, but that train has long left the station, ladies and gentlemen. This is an act of self-defense against a combatant, an active, armed, allied combatant in Israel's war with Hamas. That's Hezbollah. And there is no question. This is what a marvelous, impressive, dazzling. I mean, if we think about it, Hezbollah claims to have an army. They've claimed in the past to have an army 100,000 strong in Lebanon. That's probably not realistic. They probably have more like an army of 50,000, of which 30,000 are really only active and regular troops. Now, think about that. If thousands really were injured in the last 2 days, what an amazing strike that was.
Yeah,
And
and
what an amazing start for what should really happen, a full-scale invasion of Lebanon. And frankly, America should have been helping out Israel in terms of a full-scale invasion of Lebanon. On October 8th, America should have declared war on these monsters and joined Israel in this assault, in this war that began with a brutal assault against Israel and threatens all the West. Instead of that, Israel's on its own.
yeah,
But my God, what a great start. This is
yeah,
what I
and
call is a mouth-watering start to a real attack on Hezbollah, if it should come. And one last thought, Razi. I
yeah,
have said that there's a power vacuum in America. If you listen to the Secretary of State, Blinken, he will say the most disgusting things these days about the conflict in Israel. This is the moment for Israel to do this. I've said it before and I will say it again. This was brilliant, brilliantly timed, brilliant execution, targeted towards these people who are using this. I cannot praise Israeli intelligence enough. I
yeah. And
hope
James,
they follow through.
you're joining the reality show, right?
Yes, I will. Yeah.
Great. So we'll talk in detail about some of the responses around the world to this. I want to thank, by the way, did you catch yesterday's episode of the Daily Objective?
Yes, I did.
Daniel and I were having fun. We're not again, we fully acknowledged we had limited information, but the information we had was good. And the chat came through, and people definitely added, and they're adding today to what we have to say. So first of all, let me thank the super chatters. Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Wes, and thank you, Jeff. Daniel said, pagers invented by a Jewish dude. They should have taken BDS more seriously. Yeah. And
That was
Vlad says Israel is offering free pagers replacement for survivors. So yeah,
that was brilliant.
that is
you
the
know,
kind of humanitarian aid I can get behind. Yeah,
exactly. A brilliant comment, Vlad. Really, truly. We're laughing, but and people are dying. Maybe even innocent children and babies are dying. But ladies and gentlemen, it is these monsters that started this war. And if we want that to stop, if we want the killing to stop, then we need to decisively defeat the enemies of Israel. As I say, America should have, on October 8th, have declared war against all these monsters themselves as the threat to civilization that they are. Well, we should have done that 40 years ago. America should have been after Iran 45 years ago when diplomats were taken, or 1983 when all of those Marines in Beirut were attacked. What did America do? Zero. And so now for more than 40 years, America has been ignoring war that has been actively engaged against it by Iran, pretending it doesn't exist. And think of all the deaths in the last 40 years from Islamic terrorism. No, think of October 7th. I mean, we, through our negligence, it sort of permitted this to happen. And if we do not address it aggressively in Lebanon and in Iran at the source, this will go on and on and on. But
you're right. Yeah,
it is a happy moment, a glorious moment.
it's so a couple of things. First of all, you mentioned that it's thousands out of an army of around maybe 50,000, but it's not randomly chosen thousands, and it's not cannon fodder. These are high-ranking officials. I mean, one of the people was the Iranian ambassador to Lebanon. And by the way, some of the people who I guess managed to take it out of their pocket in time and look at it lost their eyes, which is going to make it difficult for them to fight, and others lost other things, which are going to make other things difficult.
Well, on that point, people are talking about the maiming and injuring. People are losing hands, fingers, eyes, even testicles. But I would remind everyone of the intentional mutilations that occurred on October 7th, the intentional atrocities that occurred against women and children and making mothers watch their own children die, the rapes on both sexes, the horrific mutilation of genitals and so forth. That was on purpose, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Please
And
put this in context. And these are
and
pagers. These were the low-tech pagers that they gave to their leaders. So if you're around a Hezbollah, you might not want to hang out with Hezbollah. You really might not. You want to think about that.
yeah, and
And
that's the
that's
thing.
an
I
outstanding
also
message.
I want to get to that, but yeah, this is there was reports that the original plan for October 7th or for the attack whenever it was to happen was for Hamas to attack from Gaza and for Hezbollah to invade from the north. So they would have done that as well. So if they they lost some of the parts that they would have used in such an attack, great. Now we can look forward to hopefully having them lose whatever parts remain. I want to so before we get to what Israel should do, I want to talk about uh, just how this is going to affect the other side psychologically. And I think there are things about Arab culture that are difficult for us to comprehend in somewhat rational Western society where we see types of mysticism, but it's kind of mysticism. It's like not applied mysticism. I think that's what I'm trying to say here. It's they people might pray and so on, but people will then do whatever they have to do to live a good life to whatever extent they can. In Arab culture, I've had Arab friends tell me, you don't understand the hatred for Jews in Arab culture, and I reply with, yeah, I know Arabs hate Jews generally, and people say no, like everything is blamed on the Jews. Arabs live in like this in Arab culture. You have this real obsession with the Jews being responsible for everything, being behind everything, like Candace Owens on steroids. I mean, in Islam, they believe that that the trees and the rocks will tell them when a Jew is hiding behind them. That's next level. That's mysticism that you can't get away with in any way in your mind. If you're like, okay, there's a God somewhere, and I'll just do my thing. Like you've seen trees and rocks, and you still believe that. That's next level. So the fact that they have pagers in their pockets and thousands of them explode at the same time, this is going to raise the already very high paranoia levels among Arab terrorists in the Middle East about Israel. And I think that's going to be a beautiful thing. I mean,
That is
first of all,
huge.
they already know that among them they have people who are on the side of Israel and who are feeding Israel information. One of the reasons, according to some reports, first of all, we don't officially know it's Israel anyway, but according to some of the reports, this was planned to be the first step in a wider attack when the time came, and the reason this was done now was because some people suspected that there was something wrong with the pagers. So the fact that Israel has the intel to know that they're now concerned about the pagers and just go ahead with it, that's just
Think
amazing.
you say it so well. Think of both of the psychological impacts of that. In order to have accomplished this, Israel must have outstanding human intelligence. I mean, this is people infiltrating these organizations, infiltrating these areas. Israel must be getting incredibly good information and have the skill to intercept shipments of pagers and stuff in order to put explosives in them. It is breathtaking. Now, on the one hand, you know that Israel's got this amazing capacity to shut you down and because they've got people in your organization, they're going to turn on each other. They're going to say they can't trust each other. And look at this. This is the way they were communicating too. So forget even that issue. Is it safe in any way to communicate with my Hezbollah leader? No, it isn't. And it ought not to be safe. And you ought to really think through whether or not you're even going to communicate in any way with Hezbollah, your local chapter of Hezbollah. No, no, no. On both ends, this has devastating psychological impact, and it can only tear them apart and disable their own communications and operations in the very same process, as well as disabling, hopefully, thousands of Hezbollah terrorists. I mean, what a glorious operation this was. I mean,
Yeah.
all around,
Yeah,
right?
Nasrallah, the leader of Hezbollah, said earlier this year, he gave a speech and he said, Israel's spies are your phones, like the phones that you carry with you. That's what you should look out for. So they're not using phones; they're using pagers and walkie-talkies because that's safer. And that's just so beautiful. And
Beautiful.
it shows that Israel really can do amazing things, which of course, as I said yesterday, it annoys me that Israel doesn't go ahead, because yeah, this was going to be the start of Israel's response to a year of daily rockets on its north, to its own citizens being refugees in their own country because the north is unsafe. And the fact that it isn't, unless again we're going to see something more that we haven't seen yet. But I compare it to the Six-Day War, when Israeli spies in Egypt went and got the pilots drunk, and the pilots didn't wake up the next day. But the next day, Israel destroyed the planes. So, the pilots would get over their hangover, and if the planes were still there, then it would have been a longer war and not as easily won. So, yeah, I really do hope that Israel doubles down on this somehow, and I really, really hope we're going to see more, and this is not the end.
Well, see, that's it. What a brilliant first move in a real move in a real defensive action in Lebanon this would be. And I have to admit that while I said to myself, yes, what a great opening to a real assault on Lebanon, I didn't actually. I wasn't very sanguine on that one. After a short time, all my hopes kind of came down, and I thought, well, no, Israel's not going to really invade southern Lebanon or something. But then there was this second attack today with the walkie-talkies. They're following up on it, and maybe there will be more follow-up on it. But my hope, I don't know if it's a realistic one, but my hope is that this is the beginning of a full, real attack against Hezbollah in Lebanon. Like I say, it's a damn good start. It's an amazing good start to precisely that. We have badly injured thousands of Hezbollah terrorists now. And these people don't have, when you think about it, an army of about 50,000, maybe 30,000 operative daily troops, killing or wounding thousands at once. What a brilliant start to a glorious thing this could be. But in itself, it is a glorious thing because obviously we want as many Hezbollah terrorists to die as possible. I'm going to say that just that way, ladies and gentlemen. This was a glorious thing. These people are monstrous murderers who would kill and torture any Jew that they would come across. It's better they be dead now than Israel continue to suffer what Israel has suffered from the north since October 7th. As I say, more than 7,500 missile and rocket attacks from the north, displacing tens of thousands of innocent Israelis. Something had to be done. And this is, in my view, a good start.
Yeah. So we have a troll in the chat who says, "What a war crime!" And can I ask, Mr. Troll, can you please let us know more of what you think? But can you hold your device really, really close to yourself? It's good for you. And but I want to, so I want to actually use that to get to another point, which is Lebanon's response. The foreign minister of Lebanon said that he's going to complain to the UN. The prime minister of Lebanon, they sound like a real country. And they're complaining about this. They don't like this, and the prime minister of Lebanon said something like, "We've been forced into this war for a year." Yeah, your thoughts on the country of
Harboring
Lebanon, which we're
Hezbollah
supposed to think is
is an act of war, Lebanon. Unless you take Hezbollah out of the scene there, you are a valid target of war. As I started the whole discussion by saying that Hezbollah is an active participant in Israel's war against Hamas. They have violently attacked Israel directly. Now, Lebanese government, if you don't want any attacks in Lebanon, it is your responsibility to your people, the people of Lebanon, to remove Hezbollah. You are yourself aiding and abetting war with Israel if you do not take steps to get rid of Hezbollah. That is your doing, Lebanon. You are an active participant in a war with Israel. If you don't, you say this is a violation of Lebanon's sovereignty. Well, your having Hezbollah there at all is a violation of Israel's sovereignty. Full stop. You are a valid target of war, Lebanon, insofar as you continue to permit Hezbollah to operate in your country at all.
Yeah, and you know, the UN, this is a side issue. I don't know if we're even going to discuss it at all. But the UN today, the General Assembly of the UN voted in favor of an arms embargo on Israel. By the way, if our viewers want to guess what the United Kingdom voted, go ahead. I'm sure regular viewers of this channel will know what the United Kingdom votes. But yeah, you know, it's countries like Lebanon, or the fact that they're even considered legitimate, is what makes the UN illegitimate. And yeah, but they can go ahead and say, you know, Israel is violating our sovereignty, Israel is violating human rights, or whatever it is that they're saying, and can be taken seriously. That's the ridiculous thing here, that a country like that, even in how, again, how it treats its own citizens, you wouldn't normally listen to a country like that if you are actually you think governments should be rights protecting rather than rights violating.
The governments of Iran, Syria, Lebanon are hostile, active. They're engaged in warfare against Israel. They're engaged in active warfare against America. They're engaged in active warfare against civilization itself. Such governments are aggressive dictatorships. They should be taken out as effectively as
I
America.
need to just correct you on that. I think after yesterday, I don't think Lebanon can technically be referred to as a dictatorship, but continue. I couldn't help it.
No, but the truth is that all of these governments, all of these nations are illegitimate nations, and they are dictatorships actively engaged in overt hostility against Israel and America, and they should be treated as such. And until America decides, and Israel, in fact, decides to treat this like the Allies treated Nazi Germany, as we've said many times on this show, the deaths will continue. We've got to take out these monstrous dictatorships that are attacking Israel and Americans in the area constantly. Otherwise, more October 7th will happen. It's that simple. These governments are illegitimate. They're at war with their own people. Insofar as their people support them, then they are the enemy. The people of those countries are the enemy, insofar as they support these monsters. And sorry, I will not shed one tear, one tear. They are the ones bringing this disaster upon their own populations, and their populations, by and large, support what they're doing. They deserve everything that they're getting here. Now, you say innocent children and horrible maimings. Well, it's their own fault. Stop killing Israelis. Stop trying to kill Jews. Stop attacking Americans. Stop shutting down trade in the Red Sea, Houthis. No, this is an international war going on. And until the West recognizes it as such, I'm afraid it will continue and continue and continue. And so, yes, the best way to look at this is brilliant move, Israel, but just a start. It's just a start. We have to destroy Hezbollah like we have to utterly destroy Hamas. And I mean down to the last damn supporter, if necessary, in Lebanon or in Gaza or the West Bank or Syria or Iran or anywhere else.
Yeah, you know, so we talked about this yesterday as well, but the fact that Israel, you know, um, Israel kind of broke the world record of targeting only combatants in a, you know, in just around the country. Like it's not like you target a military base. They were all over the country. Nobody has ever done this. Is unprecedented. And again, this is not the kind of thing that if you write a script for a movie or a TV show, you would get rejected because it sounds ridiculous.
Wouldn't be
And
believable.
so and that's the amazing thing that Israel did here, but it does show to what extent Israel will go with this idea of just war theory and you know, avoiding civilian casualties, which of course Israel's enemies play on that. They know that, and so they make sure they hide behind civilians. and they make it impossible for Israel to win a war as long as it continues to fight that way. And you hear voices in Israel saying, look, Hamas can never be defeated. And that's correct. As long as you fight like that, Hamas can never be defeated, ever. But yeah, I don't know. Unless you can convince them all to get some pagers, which I think will be difficult nowadays. Yeah, you cannot defeat them unless you do away with this policy of not targeting civilians.
That is the key here. This was still a super targeted for all the people who might have been injured, and it could run into the thousands and thousands. For all of those who might have been injured in this attack, it was one of these targeted attacks. It is Hezbollah leadership and operatives and the people immediately around them. Okay, that is very, very targeted. No, no. This is why I say this really has to be only a start, is because something far less discriminate really needs to happen after this. Wonderful, wonderful that we are hitting leadership and operatives so effectively. So that's grand and glorious, I grant you. So that's why I put it this way: a good start. Now let's do something that'll psychologically intimidate the population, saying we really don't care. In the sense that Hezbollah doesn't care about you and has made you a target on your back. We will go after you and any of your supporters and the population that supports you and the area where you're working from. And again, if there are any children in the way, it's Hezbollah's fault, not Israel's.
Yeah, people who are watching live can see on the live chat, and can probably enjoy seeing the angry reactions of the trolls. Now, the trolls are, just that. But we see that from major figures around the world. The reaction to this internationally is really telling about what they really mean. They can talk about women and children, with Hamas tell them that 150% of people died are women and children. But here they really do struggle, which really does show that shows their true colors. We're going to be talking about that in the reality show. But if you want to see more angry trolls, make sure more people get to see the show. Like it, share it, comment in the live chat, comment in the show afterwards, and of course subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. Quickly before we wrap up, James, where can people find you?
Here. Here mostly, but I am on Facebook actively answering questions every day at objectivist sites on social media. But yeah, here. Please
And
become a member, paid subscriber to Ayn Rand
oh yeah,
Center.
of course, if you would like to support our work and get access to lots of additional stuff, including a lot with James as well, make sure you become a member. And yeah, I'm Razi Ginzberg on X. In a couple of minutes on this channel, the reality show on this topic. The title is Terrorists Lose Their Balls, Leftists Lose Their Minds. Very proud of that title. Make sure you tune into that. Thanks, James. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We'll see you in a couple of minutes.